I want to teach you a Yiddish expression today, klutz kasha. It's a question that cannot be answered. Then I want to answer one. Shalom, my friends. Yes, there are klutz kashas, questions that cannot be answered, like can God make a rock so heavy that God himself cannot move it? But sometimes there's more to a klutz kasha than meets the eye. One such question came up recently in a class I was teaching. Where do we go when we die? Many of us believe the answer is we go to heaven, or to use the traditional Jewish terminology, the world to come. But that leads to another question, the klutz kasha. Where is heaven? Where is the world to come? Although I have no answer, I definitely have a response. The reason I have no answer to the question of where is heaven is because the question itself is invalid. When you ask about where something is, you're asking about its physical location. Because I do not believe heaven is a physical place, I do not believe we can ask for its location. Now, what makes me think this way? Believe it or not, more than theology, it's reason and logic. It's true, my answer does require certain leaps of faith, but once they have been made, the rest is simple logic. So one leap of faith you have to make is believing in God. If you're an atheist, you won't accept anything else I have to say today. But if you believe there is a God, no matter what you believe about the nature of that God, I think it is safe to say that the vast majority, maybe even all of us who believe in God, believe that God does not have a physical body. I know that in Christian doctrine, God took on human form as Jesus, but that lasted a very short time, and Christians still believe that Jesus exists even though his body died. That God exists without a physical body is one of the leaps of faith I spoke about. And if you believe that, it becomes premise number one in my argument. It leads logically to premise number two. If there is indeed a non-physical God, there is a non-physical plane of existence. Being non-physical, it has no location. We can't ask where it is. But that makes it no less real than something like love, which also has no physical location, but is undeniably real. Now we come to a second matter of faith, the human soul. I believe both that it is very real and that it, like God, is non-physical. In fact, I believe the soul is similar on an individual level to what God is on a universal level. If you share the belief in a non-physical human soul, then we are ready to turn back to logic and reason. First, it doesn't seem rational to me that a non-physical God would create a world that is solely physical. Second, having logically established that there is a non-physical plane of existence and believing in a non-physical human soul, we have arrived at my answer to the question of what happens when we die. Our souls continue to exist on the same non-physical plane of existence on which God himself exists. That is why so many Judeo-Christian traditions teach that after death, we live on in the presence of God for eternity. The soul being non-physical, is unaffected by the physical phenomenon of death. And so, my friends, as to the question of where is heaven, I have no answer. But for the question of what happens when we die, this video is my answer. I know your own answer may be different. If it is, I invite you to share it in the comments below the video, in the comments box. It's not my goal to change anyone's mind, only to make my thinking clear to you, just as I invite you to make your thinking clear to me. If you would like to support the work of this channel in addressing the ultimate issues of life, perhaps you would consider becoming a patron of the channel for as little as $3 a month at patreon.com/The Rabbi Study, all one word. There's a link to take you there in the description box just below the video. Another way to support us is through a donation to the Rabbi's discretionary fund at Congregation Sharei Tefillah, also linked before the video. And on YouTube, a thumbs up is always appreciated, as is becoming a subscriber by clicking on my face, which appears right over here, or watch my last video by clicking on its icon right over there. As ever, until next time, Shabbat Shalom.